And I'm Nathan. This is the At Odd Show. Please listen.
Forget what you learned in school. Never mind what your parents told you, and disregard what your friends say. From now on, the only people you need to listen to are these guys. For the next several minutes, they'll take you on a journey through the political jungle. And when your journey is over and you're safe at home, they promise you'll be stronger, smarter, and just plain better. So buckle up, hang on to your ears, because your journey starts now.
Hey, welcome to another episode of At Odds, where we'll take you on an enjoyable journey through the political jungle. Hey, Nate, happy Independence Day.
Yeah, same to you, Brian.
Today is July 4th, where we're broadcasting from the back room of the Keep Your Powder Dry bar and studio in a small town in what country, Nate?
United States of America today.
The good old USA. God bless America, or as a secular humanist might say, America.
Yeah, that's about it, but that's too bad.
Today we have a variety of things to talk about. We're just going to do a lot of weird stuff today. We've got a little bit of fun facts about Independence Day and all that stuff. We want first to remind you to like us on Facebook. We also have a website. What's the website, Nate?
www.atoddshow.com.
Ooh, you do that so well. Nate and I are also awful authors. We wrote a kid's book on Second Amendment rights. It's My Parents Open Carry. You can go to myparentsopencarry.com. Check out that book. You get a second book free through White Feather Press. I want to thank Superior Talk Network. That's hard to say altogether. I was trying that earlier today. Superior Talk Network. Talk Network. You go into that, and it's
understand that when you use English properly, you don't finish any single word in a sentence.
Give me an example.
Nobody enunciates words when you say like Superior Talk Network. You wouldn't. It's just Superior Talk Network, right? You just
Superior Talk Network.
Skip over the K.
Superior Talk Network.
Superior Talk Network.
I don't think you do that.
I do that.
I think we need to enunciate more.
Enunciate.
Yeah.
And don't worry about the t at the end of enunciate.
I think that's
right.
You
didn't even enunciate.
That's a Catholic nunnery somewhere.
That's
the
ironic.
Enunciate.
It's ironic.
It's not ironic.
It is ironic
It might be
that
facetious.
You didn't enunciate.
It might be sarcastic, but it's not ironic.
No, it's ironic.
So, Independence Day. On July 4th, 1776, a document was signed. What day was that, Nate?
July 4th.
What year?
76.
1776. Now, some historians say that actually the document was signed in August of 1776. The actual Declaration of Independence was July 2nd, where the congressional, the group of these rebel traders got together and decided they were going to break off from Mother England. That was on the 2nd.
Drafted up their treasonous
Declaration
document of Independence.
And some would say they phrased it in such a way that maybe they wouldn't get hanged if things didn't go well, because they were just asserting the rights that they already had.
And that was the main point of the preamble of the Declaration that so many people know today, was basically to explain why we did this and why we're breaking away from the motherland.
We did it for a noble cause, you know.
Which I can't read it from here. It's kind of dark in the studio today, but I have the original.
No, you don't have. You have a reproduction.
I have a reproduction that looks crinkled up like the original might look today.
No, it's much bigger. The original is much bigger. Yours is a small reproduction. Sorry.
It says right on it.
99 cents in any gift store.
It says
outside Washington, D.C.
That's not true. Outside Washington, D.C., which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But no, it says actual size on the back. Made in China. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I have seen the actual document. I've held it in my hands.
No, you haven't.
No, I haven't.
No, you haven't.
It's bigger than that. It's pretty.
Never mind.
It's pretty big.
I'll try to keep it above the line.
Try to do that.
Go ahead.
Anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about some fun facts about Independence Day, 4th of July. I saw a video where a guy was asking people.
You mean hot dogs and beer and
hot dogs,
grilling
brats,
and
beer,
fireworks?
Yep, drunkenness.
That is
fireworks.
what it's about, right? Much like Christmas is about presents.
There was a video out by the guy. He does this. He asks historical questions with dopers and idiots in California, and of course it's edited. It gets the most ridiculous answers. But
he sets out trying to find educated, non-pot smoking people in San Francisco.
And he fails.
It's impossible.
Yeah. He said, now, when we had our independence from China in 1976, it was July 4th, right? Yeah, man. Yeah, it was China, 1976, I think. Yeah. And what day was that signed on? Oh, I don't know, man. I don't remember. And it was just and it was all age brackets. It wasn't just like young kids. It was older people and all that.
Yeah.
And the only one that he showed that got it right was some German guy that was visiting. He goes, I think it was the English. No,
he was German from the Michigan UP.
He was a Muslim from the UP that sounded kind of like a German. Worst accent ever. Anyways, in 1870, almost 100 years after the actual Declaration was written, Congress first declared July 4th to be a national holiday. It's part of a bill that officially recognized several holidays, including Christmas. Nate, do you know what the population of the United States was in July of 1776?
Legal
citizens? Well, they were all immigrants.
Oh, jeez, here we go.
Oh, boy, that's
so what's so different about
what's wrong today?
Oh, what?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, like 17 million.
No, that's a little high.
4 million.
Still a little high.
42.
More than 42, less than
2.5 million?
2.5 million is correct. Ding, 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 ding. That's the estimated number of people living in the newly independent nation. 2.5 million. What's the population this July 4th?
Well, it's like
estimate?
310 million plus, 11 million illegals.
Yep, you're pretty
plus
close.
all their unborn children.
Right.
So we're around 316 million now.
No, how many are we exactly?
Like 330 million.
316.2 million.
Yeah, approximately. Which is very approximate, actually. I mean, it's
you get to the one decimal point
rounding
like that,
to the 100,000s.
Anyways, a lot of
growth,
more people.
A lot of growth, and a few more states.
Here's a question that I'm going to ask you, and I know you're going to know the answer to this.
Yeah, you like to ask me questions.
Well, I do, because you're a smart, intelligent young man.
I don't think that's why you would like to ask me questions, though.
It really is, because
I
know
that's true. I just don't think that's why you like to ask questions.
Why do I ask you questions?
I don't know.
Because there's no one else in the room, you idiot. We're here alone, except for the producer, the director, the waitress. And Phil, who is the bar drunk.
And he's a pretty good one.
He's a good
pretty
guy.
Good drunk.
Yeah, he's pretty good. We're getting there though.
Yeah, the country dogs here.
Who was the first person to sign the Declaration of Independence?
The first person, I think.
I'll give you a clue. He was the president of the Second Continental Congress. He was the first signer. And
also become very famous for having a big signature.
He had a big signature.
You put this guy's name on every document you sign. No, I just need your John Hancock right here.
John Hancock was the first person
to sign it. He didn't know and still doesn't know how famous he got because of that.
Probably doesn't know.
I mean, he does, but it's pretty good.
He's been dead for over 20 years.
That's true. That's a true statement.
Over 20 years.
That's a true statement.
All right. Trivia number 2. Who is the oldest signer of the Declaration of Independence.
Oh, that one I actually didn't know.
Yeah,
it was
I would
either...
guess. It was either Phil.
George H.W.
Phil over
Bush?
here in the corner.
Was it?
No,
was it
wasn't,
George H.W.
wasn't
Bush? No, FDR.
No.
George Mason?
No, I'm going to say that he would. I'll give you 2 clues. He could really press a stove.
That's one.
That was 2 clues.
That was 2 clues.
Press
you could have also said
stove.
He had a lot of $100 bills.
He had an electric personality.
Yeah, he. I don't know if he did or if the key on his kite did. Yeah, no, Benjamin Franklin.
70 years old.
70 years old.
Here's one I had no idea who this person was, let alone how old he was. The youngest person.
Well, that's because you don't study American history.
I don't.
Very often.
I usually study Marxist history.
And it shows
because
in
I'm
all of
Marxist.
your opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this young man from South Carolina.
Oh, was he?
He was.
And I'll give his age, 26.
26 years old.
Can you imagine that? That's how old are you? Well, you're in that area.
Yeah, I am very close to that.
I wouldn't have let you sign anything, let alone a
Is
declaration
that true?
of
Because
independence.
I think I've signed documents with you.
Yeah, you have.
Charters and
certainly not a paycheck.
Sort of declaring things, not independence from the country.
No countries. Usually stalking letters.
We did found an organization or two
we
together.
We did found one. Michigan
Edward
Open
Rutledge.
Carry. Yeah.
Yes,
Edward.
Michigan Open Carry, Inc.
Good old Edward, 26 years old, South Carolina. Youngest member to sign the Declaration. 2 future presidents signed the document. Go ahead. You know who they are.
Yeah, John Adams, our 3rd president, and Thomas Jefferson, our 4th president.
No.
Oh, but you're forgetting about the real first president.
Well, there were
should
several.
Get into that, but
it depends if it was before or after the Articles of Constitution or Articles of what?
Yes, the Articles of Constitution.
The Articles of Constitution. Yeah. John Adams, 2nd president. Thomas Jefferson, 3rd president. Both died 50 years to the day after that signing on July 4th. They both died within a few hours of each other.
Coincidence?
50 years later. I don't think so. I think it was the INS. Or the NSI or whatever it is.
The INS.
Yeah. I get all those acronyms all confused. I think IRS and NSI and NSA and R2D2.
NCIS.
What is R2D2? That's some nefarious organization.
Yes, it is.
Who was the oldest and last surviving member that signed the document? I'll give you a clue. He was 95 years old.
And it wasn't Benjamin Franklin.
No, it wasn't.
Was not.
95 years old and died in 1832.
Ooh, I think his name was Chuck.
They called him Chuck C. Chucky C. Chucky C.
Yep, not to be confused with Chuck E. Cheese.
No, Charles Carroll, delegate and representative for Maryland. I think we'll ask this. Wow.
Yeah, I know that was noisy, huh?
There has been the oldest continuous Independence Day celebration in the United States is where and when did it start, Nate?
It started in Holland, Michigan.
No.
Where the tulips are blooming.
Tulips are
blossoming in Holland, Michigan.
Holland and Michigan.
That's not it, though, huh?
No.
It has to be Virginia. Richmond.
Close?
Not really close. Maryland.
No.
Georgia? Rhode Island.
On my mind. Rhode Island.
Bristol,
Rhode Island has had a continuous 4th of July parade since 1785. And some of the original floats are still being paraded down there with the skeletons of the horses that drew those first carriages.
Just becoming harder and harder to get those diesel engines started.
Yeah. And they had, and believe it or not, they had Popeye balloons and Bart Simpson balloons. Oh,
yeah, of course they did.
Macy's Day. I'm getting that
Macy's.
confused. All right. How about this? This is kind of cool. Since 1868, Seward, named after Secretary of State Seward, I'm assuming, who was the one that got us Alaska for a few $1 million.
Got to be named after him. Who else would ever?
Well, it's in 1868, so I'm assuming it was established after the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Has held a celebration on the same town square. And in 1979, Seward was designated America's official 4th of July city, small town USA, by Congress.
Wow.
How do you like that?
No, I like that.
The towns normally...
I should visit there.
Yeah. You have just a few hours to get there.
Yes, I do.
Seward is a town of 6,000, but swells to 40,000 plus during the 4th of July celebrations. And since we're in Michigan, in the United States, in our hometown
we'll talk
areas,
about a very international...
This is the international big party. Since 1959, the International Freedom Festival is jointly held in Detroit, Michigan, and across the waters in Windsor, Ontario, because we are a border state.
Yes,
you got to keep those pesky Canadians from
our border
swimming across
isn't quite as dangerous as
Lake St.
South
Clair.
Dakota's border.
No, South Dakota's border is very dangerous.
Yeah,
because you can't trust those people from North Dakota.
That's right, or New Mexico either. So
either one, they're both right there.
Yep.
Anyways, during the last week of June each year, as a mutual celebration of Independence Day and Canada Day, which is July 1st, they have a big fireworks display. Everybody gets drunk and disorderly, and it's a pleasure for the Detroit police and the Windsor police to sweep them all up at the end of the festivities. So those are some trivia about Independence Day throughout America and Canada. I thought maybe our listeners might enjoy, if they're still there. What else do you want to talk about? We can move on and get to some serious stuff.
I want to take a quick break. I just want to tell everybody again, happy 4th of July. It's
yay!
Hot dogs, fireworks, things like that. It's good.
Cold
beer. It's fun, but
potato salad.
Take a few minutes to reflect on really why we are here able to celebrate the 4th of July, really the roots of it. I mean, do some research.
Why don't you get the family together and have dad or mom read the Independence document?
The Declaration. That's what we did last year. I plan on doing it again this year.
Yeah.
So
that's a good thing. It's not that long.
No, it really isn't
that
long.
It's
pretty easy to read. I would suggest not trying to read it from the copy I have.
Try not to read it from the reproduced original.
Hard to read, but
get a modern version online and read it and think
Google's
about what
good.
the words mean and what it was for those people to do during that time.
Yep, but we're going to take a quick break. AtOddShow.com, Facebook.com/@OddShow.
The At Odd Show with the greatest political talk show hosts in history, Nate and Brian. And it's sad that they actually believe that. So give a listen because the delusional need love too.
The voice of American conservatism. WRS Digital, Red State Talk Radio.
Fact. U.S. credit card debt is 8 times larger than it was 30 years ago. No wonder you and I are feeling the credit card crunch. You're not alone. Increasing prices and the costs of credit are stretching budgets and preventing people just like us from getting ahead or just catching up with our debts. At American Financial Debt Relief, we can help. We have tested ways to help you get out of debt. Find out how now. The call is free to learn more. If you qualify, we can reduce your interest, show you how to stop your debt from getting larger, and help you get out of debt faster than you can by making minimum payments. So if you're falling behind on your credit cards or medical bills, give us a call right now, where a free 5-minute call can change your life.
800-978-4815. 800-978-4815. Reduce your credit card debt. Call now. 800-978-4815. 800-978-4815.
Real radio for real Americans.
Red State Talk Radio.
Obama wants your money, and he's determined to get it. He wants your money to buy off unions, his Wall Street cronies, and to expand the Obama welfare nation. Well, Swiss America is determined to stop him from stealing your money. They want to send you an award-winning film, I Want Your Money, on DVD that exposes his plan. It'll help keep the government's hands off your money using gold, silver, and other hard asset strategies to protect your hard-earned money. Call today and request the DVD, I Want Your Money, normally $19.95, yours absolutely free. Let Swiss America show you how to use gold, silver, and other hard assets to protect your hard-earned money. Call now. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call Swiss America right now. Learn all about investing in gold. 800-932-5146. 800-932-5146. Call now.
You got the sound bites?
Well, we're back on. Thank you for listening to At Odds again. Remember, atoddshow.com.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Nate.
Let's go from the United States, an independence day, to Johannesburg, South Africa, where our president spent $100 million touring his native countries.
Oh, come on now. I mean, he grew up in Indonesia. But we've seen
That's
his,
not Africa. I thought he was born in Kenya.
Was he born in Kenya?
Yeah.
I don't know if he was born in Kenya. We should probably ask the expert, Donald Trump.
And Sheriff Arpaio or whatever.
Arpaio? Yeah. No, I kind of like him. We should talk to
I don't like
Donald
him. He's
Trump.
a violator of the Fourth Amendment, right?
Yeah,
left and right.
Yeah, he is.
He's 80-some years old. He needs to retire.
Yeah.
He's an anachronism.
It's ironic that you would say that.
Really ironic? I do not think you know what that word means. You keep using that word. Yeah, we're going to listen to a little bit of a little speech by Obama, who is cheerleading the people in not only South Africa, but just the African continent in general, that you people, well, we'll just play the soundbite, I guess.
Africa, we're going to all have to work together to find ways in which collectively we reduce carbon, but we make sure that there's some differentiation so that countries that are very wealthy are expected to do more.
Do their fair share.
And countries that are still developing, obviously they shouldn't be resigned to poverty simply because, the West and Europe and America got there first. That wouldn't be fair. But everybody's going to have to do something. Everybody's going to have to make some important choices here. And, I expect that it's going to be your generation that helps lead this, because if we don't, it's going to be your generation that suffers the most.
Yeah, so really what I'm saying...
Break this down for us.
What I'm saying is that you countries...
He is so out of
you
touch.
countries that you're rich... And now I sound like Stephen Hawking, so I'm not even going to try to do that, or Christopher Walken. But what Obama's saying here is, if your country is rich because you know what the hell you're doing and you put a system in place that works, and you work hard, you really need to pay more.
Right.
Because it's not fair to the poor countries, because I'm Obama and I am an anti-colonialist, and I blame the rich countries for the poor countries being poor. So really what you have to do, you have to pay more to offset global warming. Now, if you're poor, it's not your fault, so you won't have to pay as much. But what we need to do collectively is do our fair share collectively to solve this crisis.
You keep using that word.
Yeah, I do. And here's the thing. He keeps using the word, and he knows exactly what it means.
Yeah, I think... not only are the people in the country of the United States, of which we're here, are getting sick and tired of it, but even a lot of the world leaders are losing faith in Obama. I mean, a lot of them are like, what the hell are you doing? I can't believe you're doing this. And some are mad because he's going after Snowden, and some are happy that he's going after Snowden. But all around the world, he was this great black hope, and now they're like, geez, you're becoming this little tyrannical dictator kind of dick, And,
yeah, well, I don't know if
we
it's
don't like
that
it
so much, or if they just see that he's two-faced and that what he promises isn't really what he's going to do. I mean, do you?
Well, he
think,
goes on and says in here, don't trust the United States. Don't trust any country.
Yeah.
Don't trust us.
Right.
Don't trust me.
I'm
talking. My mouth is moving, and
and I'm
don't
lying.
trust me.
We do have some more that we can
Okay.
we can listen to. He's talking to the youths.
The youth
of Africa.
Of Africa.
Ultimately, if you think about all the youth that everybody's mentioned here in Africa, if everybody's raising living standards to the point where everybody's got a car and everybody's got air conditioning
Good.
and everybody's got a big house,
Good.
well, the planet will boil over.
Oh!
Unless we find new ways of producing energy.
Hey, Brian.
So what you want to do?
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
When the planet boils over, where does the overflow go?
It goes into Australia.
Oh,
and it
yeah,
floods
down
Australia.
Under. Their toilets spin the other way down
They
there.
do,
you know?
yeah.
They don't.
No, I think they spend millions and millions of dollars to have it spin the other way, the right way.
Do they?
Yeah.
Obama funded that with American tax money?
I think he did.
So he's saying that it's a bad thing if these poor countries
to prosper
really
and
just raise the standard of living. So everybody has a small or a big car,
a big house,
and a big house,
and air conditioning.
And air conditioning.
Yeah, that's bad.
Does he have air conditioning on Air Force One or his limousines?
Pay no attention to the two jets that are landed out there, and I've spent billions of dollars on flying around the country and putting all kinds of greenhouse gases in the air.
The standard of living, so everybody had a big house and a big car, used to be
the goal.
What this country was about.
The whole world.
The whole world to an extent. But this country,
everybody wants
he's not
that.
out there representing the world. He needs to be representing the United States of America.
Well, that's the thing.
This
He
country
thinks he's a leader
was
of the world.
founded
He's
and
not anymore.
operated under the notion that it was good to earn things.
Right.
It was good to raise the standard of living for everybody, and that not everybody is going to prosper, but you will have the same chance to work hard, try hard, and be successful.
But he's telling them not to do that.
Don't do that because the earth will boil over. Whatever the hell that means. And he's on his global warming kick because he has to pay back all the
contributions.
The contributions, the favors that he got from
the green people.
The green people. And so, I mean, that's what Solyndra was about, and that's what this is about. It's invest money, invest time, and try to change the world by telling everybody that global warming is going to kill everybody. Guam's going to tip over too, and we don't need
Nate,
big houses and air conditioning.
I don't think we hate Obama, but we dislike him intently. Worst president ever. He's just really out of touch.
Yeah,
he's really out of touch.
He is,
and
the problem is, I think he knows what he's doing. He has been
I can't
so
believe he keeps
successful.
getting away with it.
He has been so successful at everything he wanted to do. He had plans to fundamentally transform this great nation. And what did he do? He has fundamentally transformed this great nation.
Who does he have pictures of? That's what I want to know.
Himself.
Well, yeah, but he's got to have pictures of somebody somewhere to get away with this.
You think so?
Well, got to.
Who?
Oh,
he doesn't have pictures of me. Well, he might, but I don't
you'd
care.
Have to actually been engaged
I don't care.
in something.
Yeah, and I've never done anything wrong in my life, so he can't possibly have anything.
Pure
on
as
me.
snow. That's what you are.
Is the NSA still listening to this show?
Of course,
we want to welcome our special guests, the NSA. Once again, we like to do that every episode.
We're not important enough for them.
Oh,
we're not.
I mean,
they would never listen to little guys like us.
You don't think so?
No. They're after big.
How
fish.
about if I say bomb, terrorism, mass shooting, big giant parade,
Obama kill?
That one might
we're on it now.
Oh, jeez.
That was
terrible.
Bad. What did it? I'm leaving.
Oh, the lights are turning off.
Yeah, the lights went down.
Wow. So
we're hearing some beating on the back door. I don't know what that means.
Speaking of the 4th of July, speaking of Obama not representing what this country was found on.
Oh, it's terrible.
Have you heard the news about Obamacare? About
the
president.
What's Obamacare? I've never heard of that.
Okay, well, Obamacare is this big monstrosity of garbage that was passed, interestingly, by Congress.
Oh, wasn't the bill that was going to save everybody?
Yep, but you have to
make the
pass
world a
it
better
to read
place.
what's in it,
and that it was going to help everybody.
Yeah, no,
pursuit
everybody's
of liberty and freedom and happiness.
Everybody's healthcare cost is going to go down.
And 30 million people are going to have health care for free.
Yep. Now, let's not forget that there is a midterm election coming up in 2014, next year. So what...
Wait a minute. Does 14 follow 13? When did that happen?
Yes, it does. Okay. What political move was made just recently with Obamacare? What was made just recently was, well, let's kind of push back the implementation because we know that if we require companies...
Wait a minute. The bill says they have to implement it now.
Yeah, no, it does, but Obama has a pen, and he can sign anything he wants.
And they have to implement it for employees and employers.
So if a company has over 50 employees, they're required to offer them their full-time employees, not offer, give them...
that has to be implemented. That's by law. There's a date in there.
Yep.
It's in the statute. Passed by Congress. It's a lawful act. What are you saying?
So, yeah, no, Obama signed this paper that pushes that date back until sometime after the midterm election.
That sounds awfully dictatorial to me.
Dictatorial? Yeah. Dictatorial?
No, I said dictatorial. I mean what I say.
You do mean what you say, but you're not always coherent. No, but yep. So
often incoherent.
After the midterms, because Obama and his cronies realize that they're not faring so well in public opinion, and that they aren't really set up to do very well in the midterm election.
Nate, how can he do that? He's not a tyrant. He's not a potentate. He's not a sultan. He's not
not
an emperor.
The 300 million
he doesn't have
cowards that won't stand up. Go tell him that he can't do that.
Wait a minute. Something said.
Well,
did you just call me something?
There definitely are people in this country that are standing up doing the right thing.
I take offense to that.
But in general, everybody just sits back and says, whatever, the government knows best.
Or they just don't know about it, or they don't think about
it because you think
what is it? What's the new term
you think
now?
It's been covered heavily.
Low information voters, another word for ignorant idiots.
Yeah, Rush Limbaugh did.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
calls that the
that's
low.
His word. Well, because he was calling them other things and thought.
Well, nicer. Let's make it nicer.
Well, it's not always their
fault. Can't call them stupid dumbasses.
It's not always their fault because they don't know what they don't know.
Well, ignorance isn't necessarily anyone's fault per se. Just because you're ignorant doesn't mean you're stupid.
But if you're watching MSNBC and ABC News every night and you're not getting any other news, you're not going to know these things. You're going to see Snowden as a traitor, and you're going to see George Zimmerman as a murderer.
Guilty, as murder. And now that's another subject, but now they're saying, oh, well, let's see, it doesn't look like we're going to get him for second-degree murder. Let's get him for something. Jaywalking? Maybe we'll get him for a traffic violation.
Well,
manslaughter. How about manslaughter? Can the jury say he was biting his nails?
That's how criminal cases work, mostly because of the whole double jeopardy thing, that they charge heavy and then always get it reduced.
Well, that's usually before the trial. They usually try to say, all right, we're going to slap you for 15 felonies, but if you plead guilty, we'll only do one felony and you only do 4 years. Yeah, that's usually done before.
We'll see how that one shakes out, and we can talk about it a bit. I want to stay on Obamacare for a second, though.
Sorry.
Nancy Pelosi stood up and said some great things about the founding of our country and how it relates to Obamacare.
She had some words on our independence.
She sure did, and our liberty to pursue things.
What our founders put forth in our founding documents, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
By the way, reading that from a script, I'm sure.
And that's the preamble. It's really not the document that contains the meat.
No, but I mean, it is the general idea of the document. It's laying out the purpose and the reason for doing it. It does mean something. I reject anybody who says that the preamble doesn't mean anything because
it doesn't mean anything legally.
Yeah, but who cares? That's not the point.
I know. Philosophically,
and that's not what
does.
she's talking about either, legally.
I know, but it just pisses me off because they just use those three words as that's the Declaration of Independence, and it's a little bit more than that.
And that is exactly what the Affordable Care Act helps to guarantee. Ooh. A healthier life, the liberty to pursue happiness, free of the constraints that lack of health care might provide to a family. If you want to be a photographer, a writer, an artist, a musician, you can do so. If you want to start a business, if you want to change jobs under the Affordable Care Act, you have that ability, that liberty to pursue your happiness.
Now, Nate, let me ask you that.
Yeah.
Before Obamacare, could those people not pursue those pursuits?
No, absolutely
not.
not.
Did they not have the liberty to pursue those things?
No.
Are you saying a person that wanted to be an artist couldn't be an artist before this?
It was
Obamacare?
illegal.
I didn't know that.
And you remember the declaration from Atlas Shrugged, right? That you can't change jobs and you know.
You can't start a business.
You can't start a business.
A
you
small
can't
business
own more than one business. You cannot quit your job. You cannot be fired from your job. Wages are frozen. That was the state we were in before Obamacare.
Okay, I didn't know that because now I'm on board with Obamacare.
Yeah, because you want to quit your job.
I do, and I didn't know that I couldn't do that before. Because she's saying that these professions that these people want to pursue, which generally don't pay a lot, and she's using them as excuses for those people that don't have health care, they couldn't pursue that before Obamacare, but now they can because they have the liberty.
Yeah,
the liberty to do that now.
That was
and
the other point.
Before.
That was the other point I wanted to talk about is these professions that she's talking about, which are very useful and can be very successful. But she's talking about photographers, she's talking about artists, she's talking about musicians.
Yeah.
It's not easy to start in those industries.
Tough.
Believe me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not paying for my health care with my music career.
Right.
That's for sure.
And I would say that you're the farthest thing from an artist that I know. But go ahead.
Oh, absolutely.
And you have the liberty now to pursue
I've
that
also dabbled in
pipe
photography
dream.
before.
Me too.
Did not pay for my health insurance.
No, just paid a lot for
But what
film.
I did was I was responsible for myself. In film, you just dated yourself there.
Well, I know.
What I did
was that on purpose.
I was responsible for myself and my own
No,
affairs.
wait, but you told me before Obamacare you couldn't even do that. So how were you pursuing
black market?
How was your liberty?
It was underground.
How was your liberty recognized to do that if it wasn't for Obamacare?
Not just my liberty of to pursue happiness.
Yeah.
Is what it was. Obamacare has given me my liberty to pursue happiness.
She is one whacked out wackadoodle.
Yeah, she is.
She is not a smart woman, and I think she was drunk. I'm saying that.
I hope so. And
that would be an excuse.
That's not the first time that people have had that thought.
She's an idiot. I mean, I've heard other commentators saying that she's
something going on.
She's either playing a very good idiot or she really is. And I'm saying nobody's that good of an actor. Do you have any more with her or not?
No, that's all I can stand of her.
Boy,
I mean, she rambled on about liberty and because it's close to the 4th of July, and so what better way to sell Obamacare than to say life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness? Which, by the way, in case you didn't know, Obamacare is the exact opposite of what
freedom
the founders had in
liberty.
mind when they said life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. When Thomas Jefferson, when he wrote that, did not mean free health care for everybody.
Yeah. When she read that, I heard this kind of the founding fathers rolling over in their graves.
Yeah.
No,
they've been rolling for 6 years now.
Yeah, that's
longer than that, but I mean,
you don't
under
have
this regime, 5 years.
You don't have a right to health care.
No, you do not.
Oh, I don't know what I was going to say about that.
Typical.
Maybe we should just
typical. It was a rough weekend last.
Oh, I just know it's. I know what I was going to say. I was going to say she's using that platform of Independence Day to sell Obamacare, like so many fabric stores, and use President's Day to sell blankets and sheets and pillowcases.
Yep.
I mean,
absolutely,
it's terrible.
How can you fight against something so patriotic as giving photographers and artists free health care?
But it's not
on
free.
Independence Day, no less. Free.
What did I hear?
Brian, we're a free country, free health care, free. I don't see how you don't get the correlation. You didn't know that's what free country meant, did you?
I didn't. I was hearing something about, and I can't remember exactly, but somehow they were doing a fundraising for some guy whose daughter had cancer in Canada or something, and he couldn't afford health care. I thought Canada had socialized medicine, and you weren't denied treatment, but he was having a problem meeting his medical bills. How did that work? I don't know.
Yeah, how does that work? How, if you have a broken leg, do you wait in line for 3 days because there are more serious injuries ahead of you? How does that work? It doesn't work very well. You know what works well? you're a doctor. I need your services. I give you something. You give me your services. It works.
And if I can't pay you right away, you work out a payment plan, and that's between the doctor and you. And so many doctors do that. They'll let you pay them.
Absolutely.
And
that's not to say that there isn't a place for the insurance industry.
Right,
either.
right.
They do great things by kind of pooling. This collective thing that we talk about. That's kind of what insurance companies do.
Don't use collective.
But it's on a private, non-governmentally intrusive platform. Well, that's the idea. Anyway.
I wish that everyone had health insurance. I wish everybody had a good care. But what I'm really, really opposed for is the mandate that you must buy this, and if you don't, we're going to punish you.
Look,
tax you.
This is an anecdote. I don't like anecdotes, but I know somebody very close to me.
Did you swallow poison? Oh, that's an
antidote.
Okay.
See, I was enunciating.
You were.
But I know somebody who had a very major medical issue come up. Did not have insurance. They worked with their doctors, set up plans, things like that. They got it worked out. And there are organizations that help people like this that the government doesn't really have to have a part in it because they're churches,
charities,
things like that. Charities, private charities step up,
fundraisers,
and handle these sorts of things.
But you can't hardly even fundraise for people because you need all kinds of federal and state regulations
especially
for this
if you don't want to pay half of it in taxes. Yeah, absolutely. It's absurd, completely absurd. It's the state we're living in. It's time to change it. It's time for hope and change. I think I might campaign next year.
God bless us.
Or in 2016 on hope and change.
I don't know if it's been used. That might be copyrighted.
I bet it is.
I bet it is too.
We can take a quick break, though. We have a bunch more to talk about, including
all kinds of stuff,
drugs and yoga and all sorts of fun stuff.
What do you know about my weekend? What did you say? Drugs? What?
No, I said yoga, and I know that wasn't part of your weekend.
Oh no, I can't do yoga.
Well, you could if you just tried.
I would hurt.
Red State Talk Radio.
The idea of government taking over healthcare is enough to make you sick.
The conservative voice.
I will never forget the day my son Jeremy told me he hated me and slammed the door in my face. I'm behavioral therapist Janet Lehman. Behavior problems can turn the child you love and your life into a nightmare. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the step-by-step program that shows you how to fix the worst behavior problems and get your child to respect and listen to you again. No matter what the behavior, defiance, backtalk, angry outbursts, disrespect, we can help you stop it. Now you can get the Total Transformation for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. You can keep it forever for free.
Limited number of free programs available. Call now. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. 1-800-257-2873. That's 1-800-257-2873.
Great shot, Bob. I think you're on.
I just followed your lead.
Hey, by the way, did you break ground on your new building?
No way. I'm holding off until I see what the future holds.
So you're seeing a fortune teller?
You know what I mean. Things look a little uncertain.
The only thing certain in business is if you're not growing, you're losing. And we just opened our 5th facility last week. If you're following my lead, you'll call General Steel. Their pre-engineered steel buildings could save you as much as half the cost compared to conventional buildings. And they're up in nearly half the time, and backed with a 50-year structural warranty.
Yeah, but steel buildings...
Hey, you've seen my building. Does it look like steel?
No, it looks great.
Ask about rebates that could save you up to $20,000. Look, you can stop paying rent and own a building that suits your business better and probably saves you money by operating more efficiently. In times like these, don't stop spending, just spend wisely.
800-398-8309, 800-398-8309, 800-398-8309, 800-398-8309.
Red State Talk Radio.
Why spend more than you have to on your life insurance? Did you know that term life insurance rates have fallen over 60% in the last 15 years? At the Life Insurance Quote Line, we monitor the rates, features, and financial strength of hundreds of life insurance products. For example, a healthy 40-year-old can protect his family with $500,000 of 10-year level term for less than $20 a month. Rates for women are even lower. And don't forget to ask us about the new term life policies that guarantee your money back even if you don't die. Since 1986, we've helped tens of thousands of people just like you save a fortune on their life insurance. Why not find out how much you can save? Write down this number and call today for your free quote. 1 5-minute call is all it takes. Call 800-610-3497. 800-610-3497. That's 800-610-3497. Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state.
And we're back. I'm Brian.
And I'm Nate.
You're listening to At Odds. You remember when we talked about the guy that was protesting the banks, particularly Bank of America in California, where he's taking sidewalk chalk, and he was writing, banks are bad, It was during the bailouts a year and a half or so ago. And Bank of America put a lot of pressure on the local police to kind of handle this guy, and he was doing it for 6 months or so. They finally got tired of him. They said, all right, we're gonna do something. So they got the gang unit, the graffiti and gang unit, to bring the case to their city attorney or whatever, and they said, yeah, we can do a favor to our political buddies, the big money Bank of America, and we'll charge this guy with 13 misdemeanors of vandalism, which carried a $1,000 fine, and 1 year in jail. So he was facing 13 years in jail, $13,000 fine.
Yeah, but he painted on their buildings and cars with permanent paint that wouldn't come off, and Sharpie markers, and he threw bricks through the windows, and he physically assaulted people with potatoes.
No, exactly what he did was he took kids' sidewalk chalk that washes away after a rain.
Oh, is that
just drew it on the public sidewalks. No damage. It wasn't malicious. It was freedom of speech. And it was all a political ploy to teach this guy, you can't screw with corporations, you can't screw with the city police, and we're going to teach you a lesson.
Maybe ill-advised, but not harmful. I mean, the chalk washes away. And
I don't think there was any real damage done.
Right.
Except maybe
that's what I mean.
His statement about the bank. Anyways, it actually went to trial. It should never have gone to trial. It went to trial. He was acquitted this week of all charges. Kudos to the jury, and kudos to his defense attorney. This was the same judge that wouldn't allow him to use First Amendment as a defense and put a gag order on the defense attorney not to talk about the case. So squashes First Amendment in a couple of different areas.
Basically, don't let this get out because it looks bad, but we're going to go forward with it anyway.
And I hope somebody FOIAs the cost to the city for prosecuting this case. Because this is San Diego, by the way, California. That's in California.
It's just tax money. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, it's tax money. It's government money. That doesn't come from anywhere. What else? What do you think about Snowden? You didn't want to talk about Snowden. He's having trouble finding a country. He's a man without a country. Some 20-some countries he's applied for asylum or something. And some are rejecting him outright, and others says, well, come to our country, and you have to be on our soil before you can do it, and it's a crapshoot. And
that's hard.
Maybe
that's
you will get arrested and taken away by the CIA, or we'll give you asylum. We don't know. Come over and talk about it.
Yeah,
and he's having a rough time.
Russia, Putin's saying,
he doesn't
if you want to
stay
here, you have to stop leaking,
information and talking about it.
But
Putin doesn't want him.
No, he doesn't. But I think some of the crap that our president has done to Russia really hasn't made them happy, so they're not willing to just hand him over.
I don't think they want to screw with the bull. They really don't. I don't care what you say. America still is the big bull in the pen. Was it Venezuela? Is it what there was?
Venezuela
was which country? Chavez, whatever guy died recently.
Yeah, that was Venezuela.
They've apparently offered him asylum.
He just has to get there.
Well, there was rumors that because the president was in Russia, Venezuela. The president was in Russia doing some business and stuff, and some people were saying he was on the president's plane and rushed out of the country, and others are saying no, he's still in Russia.
Well, they forced the president's plane to land and searched it,
looking for him.
Yeah, and
where did it land? Where did it land?
Some B country, I don't remember.
Okay, huh?
Bermuda,
I don't know how you. I don't know how you force it to land.
Pretty mama.
Kokomo.
Montego,
It was Kokomo.
Baby, why don't
we go?
Kokomo. It
was Kokomo.
They landed in Kokomo.
How can you force the plane down?
The
airways are sovereign. I mean, how do you do that?
I don't know who did it, and I don't have the details. I wasn't prepared to talk about this, but
what I
heard was that they revoked their authorization to land. They didn't really force it down. They forced it to be diverted, saying you can't land here, wherever it was.
Yeah.
Had to go somewhere else, and I guess it was searched. He wasn't on there. I don't know. The rumor is he's still in the sort of international zone in the Moscow airport.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know which way to go on that. I don't want to dwell on it right now because it's Independence Day, but depending on what he leaked, what better time? I know what you're looking at me. What better time to discuss it? I don't know what he leaked. I don't know what damage he did, but if all he did was say, hey, your government spying on the people without warrants and all of that, and he released it to a press agency, I don't see where that's espionage. I don't see where that's treason.
But what you do have to look at, he has released a ton of documents since then.
That
he's
we're not
released
aware of,
information that the United States has been spying on other countries, European countries and things, which they have to put on a face and act upset about that, even though they're spying on us too.
And they know we're doing this, and we know they're doing it.
And they already knew that. He's aligning himself either out of desperation or want, I don't know, but he's aligning with WikiLeaks. Is it Julian Assange or whatever?
They've actually helped him out, apparently.
They've helped him out. It sounds like he's actually given them the information he has, so even if he is murdered, assassinated, they have it. It's going to be leaked anyway.
That's
so
his
it's
ace in the hole, I think.
Really tough because WikiLeaks hasn't done much good for this country.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they have actually put troops in danger, and not all things are meant to be leaked, and I really think that there are things that should be classified.
Absolutely, I agree with that. On the other hand, when your country is spying on you, maybe unlawfully, even lawfully, and it's brought to light.
Lawfully? Does that exist?
Well, Patriot Act, I mean, yes, there are bad things that are
on.
lawful.
How many laws do we have that are unconstitutional? That doesn't make it... Okay, lawful.
Yeah,
by definition.
Thank you.
Sure.
It's lawful. That's what I meant.
Sure.
Words mean thing. I say words that I mean.
You do, but
it's
I don't
lawful.
think that's what you meant.
I don't know that it's right. I don't know that it's moral. I don't know it's constitutional, but it's lawful.
Sure.
Okay? So the idea is that he's letting people know about it, and by God, a lot more people are realizing what the government's doing than they were before he did this. That's for sure. And people are asking questions, and I think that's a good thing. I don't know if he'll be a patriot or a traitor. I don't know. We don't like to talk a lot about a religion. We have different views on that.
Unless it's healthy and good,
pure and good and godly.
No. I meant good for your physical health.
I don't understand.
Help you lose some weight, limber up.
Religion?
Yeah, I something like, I don't know, doga, like yoga with your dog.
Okay,
that's good for everybody involved.
All right, stop talking right now.
I don't want to stop talking right now. I mean, maybe in a couple minutes I'll stop talking because we are getting close on time here. We just have a few minutes left.
Quiet.
You know that's not going to work, right?
I know it.
Especially since I have the controls because
I know it.
Watch this. There goes Brian. Now he can't talk anymore. And what's funny is I actually muted his mic.
So, anyways, I was going to say what? Anyways,
I don't think he realized it.
Some school, I think it's California, I don't know, want to teach yoga in phys ed or some class. They were going to do yoga,
which is odd.
And there was a certain group that's saying, "Wait a minute, you can't do that because yoga is religious. It has Hindu roots, and there's certain terms in there that are religious, and you can't teach religion in school, so we're not going to have any part of that." I was going to ask you, do you think yoga is considered a religion? Now, the school system said, no, we took all of those terms out that had any kind of religious connotation, and we changed them. All we want to do is teach kids, meditation, exercising, stretching, all this kind of stuff. Your thoughts on that? Real quick.
No,
You think yoga's harmful or beneficial?
Oh, I know yoga's harmful because you're really sore after you do it. I mean, have you seen the downward-facing dog?
I have a bug on my screen. Literally, it's a bug.
It's yoga.
A computer bug.
It's yoga.
Yeah, I mean, boy, I don't know. I'm kind of a secular guy. I don't think that religion really belongs, in government and in public schools and stuff. But yoga, I don't know.
I mean, come on.
Meditation now is going to be considered
You're on a mat
religion
doing, different poses and things. I think the vast majority of people that do yoga do it for the health.
I don't think
the
they do it for
health benefit,
religious reasons.
Not because they're
believing
into
in
Hinduism
and elephant gods with horns or something.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I think it's ridiculous. I think most of the lawsuits that come up against public schools for religious practices are ridiculous.
I don't know. I don't know about
these
that.
Big groups
I don't
like
know about that.
Freedom from Religion and things that just have the wrong idea about separation of church and state. They don't understand what it means.
I do disagree with that. I saw that in the news where it was a college that was.
What is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
It was a college student that was working for the university during their orientation program with new students, and she was wearing a crucifix.
Okay.
And they said, "Oh, you can't wear that crucifix because that might offend somebody." And you know how might offend, that just drives me nuts.
Right.
Even though I may not be a Christian, I think people have the right to wear whatever they want on their body.
Yeah.
And they told her, you got to cover it up, and she didn't do it. And then like half an hour later, they saw her again. They said, "Well, you got to cover that up," and she just left. She's filing a suit against them for discrimination, religious freedom, and all that stuff. And it seems like this is in California. California has a law that says that state employees are allowed to wear religious emblems and things as long as it doesn't disrupt the workplace and doesn't disrupt the job and all that. And I think she's got a really good case, but I can't imagine the idiot that says, you can't wear that crucifix. I don't know that they would do it for a Star of David or a Muslim crescent or anything like that.
Oh, sure. They're not going to tell somebody to take their burqa off, are they?
No, that's exactly
what's the
right.
difference?
Yeah.
I honestly,
it might offend somebody. I hate that might offend somebody crap.
Yep, but that's the world we're living in. That is about all we have, though. We want to tell you happy 4th of July once again.
Go out there and have fun. Celebrate America, freedom, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Be safe. Don't get crazy. We want to have you around.
Yep.
And
celebrate another 4th of July next year.
Absolutely. If there is a next year. If there is an America. If there is freedom and liberty.
Yeah. Well, we know there will probably be less of that.
We might have May Day celebration where we have goose-stepping Soviet missiles going down the boulevard.
Boy. All right, well, until next week, thanks for listening.
All right, bye-bye.